Hey guys, it's Cara, welcome back to the Rambutina channel. Today we are finally doing an updated tutorial on this jumper that I posted 11 months ago, so almost a year ago now, which is crazy. And yeah, I'm doing an updated version of this jumper because I'm not a big fan on how I joined it. This time we're gonna do a join as you go method. And a lot of you were asking on how to do the cuffs on the sleeves and the collar, and I'm also going to add a little trim at the bottom of this one as well, and I'm using different colours, and I'm using a different colour for each round this time. Last time I used I made solid squares and solid triangles just using 3 different types of yarn. One of them was a multicoloured one, so I got lots of colours, but yeah, I wanted to try it out using solid colours and alternating the colours for each round. We are going to make it a bit longer this time, and I'm going to make 22 squares in total and 8 triangles. Yeah, so this is the sunburst granny square, or starburst, and obviously this is not my design, it's all over YouTube and wherever you can find crochet patterns, so this is a well-known pattern, it's not mine, I'm not claiming that it's my design. I'm just going to show you how to make it in this jumper series, so you can see how I make it with my hacks on how to make it really seamless. Like, you can't really see where I started the round and finished the round, so I'm really proud on how these turned out. And then the same with the triangle. I showed you guys how to make this in the last in the video, in the original one, but I have since then improved quite a bit and it doesn't look so wonky now. I don't know what I was doing before, but now it's looking a lot better. We can have like a side-by-side comparison. Yeah, that looks icky and wonky, and now we have the new and improved half granny square or triangle where it's nice and neat and straight. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. So in this first part I'm going to show you how to make the squares and the triangles, because you want to first off make the squares and the triangles, and then we're going to start joining them in the next part. So that's why I've only got 4 rounds on the square, and the same with the triangle. I only have 4 rows, and we're going to use the 5th round to start joining them. But yeah, that will be in the next part. So I've gone ahead and made 21 squares already and 7 triangles, so I'm going to make the 22nd and the 8th triangle in this video to show you how to do them. Is there anything else to mention before we start? The yarn is from all over the place, and I don't think I have the labels for each yarn, but basically it's all 4 medium weight Aran worsted weight yarn, and I'm using a 6mm crochet hook with that. This is what I used last time, it's the exact same thing. I'm just making it a bit longer this time, so it's going to be a bit bigger. Sizing, if you need to size up, if you need to make it a bit larger, I recommend making more rounds in the granny square. So I've got 4 here, you might need to do 5 and then join with the 6th round. And then sizing down, if you need it smaller, maybe try using DK yarn, that might be a bit too small, I'm not too sure. Or maybe go down on hook size. Yeah, that might be a bit of experimenting, but I will have the full measurements in the description of the video, as well as the written pattern. If I can find the yarn, I will include that in the description as well. But there are some great like ice yarn alternatives that I could put in the description for you guys. Let's start with the square. So yeah, I recommend making all your squares first and then joining them afterwards. Well, that's what I've decided to do here, but you could always join as you go, so make them and join them as you go, but you might want to see where all the squares go in the jumper first, you might want to choose, you know, where the colour placement and all that. So let's make a square. We are gonna grab one of our colours and make a slip knot. Then I'm going to make a chain 5 loop, so I'm just going to chain up 5. Then I'm going to slip stitch back into that first chain to create our loop. There we go, now we have our loop. I'm going to go into it with my hook with a single crochet, chain 1, and that is our beginning double crochet, so that acts as our very first double crochet in this round. Then I'm going to go around and make 15 more double crochets for a total of 16. Okay, and I'm gonna pull on my loose end that I crocheted over so that we can get it all nice and together. Then we're gonna slip stitch into that beginning double crochet. Chain 1 to fasten off. And so with the second colour, I'm going to make a slip knot. I'm going to take my hook out. Yeah, I'm going to take my hook out of the slip knot, and I'm going to go into that slip stitch that we just made to finish that round. So that slip stitch on top there. Ooh. Go into it, grab the yarn that has the slip knot, I'm going to pull it through, and I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to make, oh, these ends are in my way, I'm going to make a 3 insert puff stitch. So yarn over, go into that same slip stitch and pull up your yarn. It's quite difficult to do. And pull it up quite high. Yarn over, go into that stitch again, pull it up again, yarn over, go into the stitch one last time, and pull it up. Then you want to yarn over and pull through all of those loops and chain 1. That's our first puff stitch. Okay, so next we're going to put the next puff stitch into this stitch here, which is kind of it's kind of like opened up. But we're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, pull up your yarn, yarn over, go into the stitch again, pull it up, yarn over, go into the stitch for the 3rd time, pull it up, yarn over, pull through all of the loops, chain 1. So now we're just going to continue making puff stitches in all of these stitches, so you'll have 16 puff stitches in total, and remember to chain 1 in between each one. So I'll just show you one more time. Yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up to meet the height of the other stitches, yarn over, go in for a 2nd time, yarn over, go in for a 3rd time, yarn over, pull through all of the loops, and chain 1. So yeah, I'm just going to continue doing that all the way around. Okay, so I finished my last puff stitch and chain 1. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the very first puff stitch to finish this round. So just make a slip stitch, chain 1 to fasten off. Okay, we're on our third round now, and I'm going to grab my next colour and make a slip knot. And I'm gonna start in any of these chain 1 gaps, and I'm going to start with a beginning double crochet, so a standing single crochet, chain 1, and that's going to act as part of the cluster stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, go into that same space, pull up your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the same space, pull up your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have 4 loops on our hook, and I'm going to yarn over, pull through all 4 of the loops and chain 2. So that's our first cluster. It's a bit different to the other clusters because we start with the beginning double crochet and then you just do a 3 insert cluster to finish that first one. And now we're just going to make 15 more regular 4 insert clusters. So I'm going to show you, yarn over, go into the next chain space and pull up your yarn, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you want to do that 4 times. So you have a 4 insert cluster, and now we have 5 loops on our hook. So the first one you'll just have 4 loops on your hook, but for the rest of them you'll have 5. Yarn over and pull through all of those loops and chain 2. So we want to continue this all the way around in between each of these puff stitches for a total of 16 cluster stitches. So I'm going to continue going around. Remember to go into the gap 4 times, pulling up your yarn and just pulling through 2 each time, yarn over and pull through all 5. Chain 2. Okay, so I've finished all 16 clusters and we've got the chain 2 still on our hook, and I'm going to slip stitch into this stitch, so the stitch past the first cluster, so in that one, to finish this round. Slip stitch, chain 1 to fasten off. So now we are on the 4th round and the squaring off round. So this is when it goes from a circle into a square. So I'm going to make a slip knot with my yarn. And I'm going to go into any of these chain 2 spaces, just go into any random one, and I'm going to make a beginning double crochet, so a standing single crochet, and then I always bring this loose end over to this side so that I am crocheting over it. And then I'm going to finish my single crochet, chain 1, and that's our beginning double crochet. Now I'm going to make one more double crochet in that space, and then we're going to come and finish this cluster at the very end when we come back around, so that you have that seamless beginning and end. So now we're going to the next space with 3 half double crochets. Then we want to make 3 double crochets into the next space. Then we're going to make our first corner, so we're going to wrap our yarn around the hook twice to make a treble crochet. So in the next chain 2 space you want to make 3 treble crochets. We're going to chain 2 for the corner, and then make 3 more 3 more treble crochets into that same space. So you'll have 6 treble crochets in total in this one space. So now we're going to make 3 double crochets in the next space. So we've just done 3 double crochets, so now we make 3 half double crochets. Then we're going to make 3 double crochets into the next space. And then we're into our next corner with 3 trebles. Chain 2, 3 more trebles, and I'm going to continue that pattern all the way around to finish this square. So next up is doubles. Then 3 half doubles. Three double crochets. And now we're going to make our next corner, so 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 more trebles, and we're on the last side now, so I'm going to make 3 doubles, 3 half doubles, 3 doubles, and then we're going to make our corner in this one, and then we're going to finish this cluster. So 3 doubles, Okay, so I finished my last corner, and to finish this round we are going to make one more double crochet into that very first space that we joined with. So to complete that cluster, we'll just make one more double crochet and then slip stitch into the beginning double crochet. Slip stitch and chain 1. And there we go, we have one square, the last square for me, complete. Yeah, that might be a good idea when you've made all your squares to weave in the ends as you go, so it's not a big job at the end. Okay, so this is all of my squares. I have 8 of these ones with the cream on the outside, I have 6 with the grey on the outside, and then 4 each of the pink, well, like the blush colour, and the teal colour. 2 of these will actually be folded like that for the sides. Okay, let's make one of these triangles. So where is the end of this yarn? Okay. So I'm going to make a slip knot. I'm going to make a chain 5 loop, the same as the square. And slip stitch into the first to make a loop. And I'm going to go in with a beginning double crochet into the loop, so a single crochet, chain 1. And now I'm going to make 8 more double crochets so that we have 9 in total. Then I'm going to chain 1 to fasten off. Where are my scissors? There they are. So I'm going to make a slip knot with my next colour. And we are going to go into that beginning double crochet that we started on. So this beginning double crochet, we're going to go into the top of the stitch with another beginning double crochet. Then I'm going to put one more double crochet into that same stitch, and that's our fake first puff stitch. So it's not really a puff stitch at all, but it's going to act as, you know, these bits. It looks a lot neater when you just do that. So we just made a beginning double crochet, 1 double crochet into the very first beginning double crochet. Then I'm going to chain 1 and make our first puff stitch into the next stitch. So a 3 insert puff stitch like the squares. Go in 3 times, yarn over, pull through all of them, and chain 1. Continue making puff stitches, and we're going to have 7 puff stitches in total. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So chain 1 after every puff. So after you've made 7 puff stitches, you should be left with 1 more stitch, and after I chain 1, we are just going to put 2 double crochets into that stitch. I'm actually going to crochet over this tail end, so I'm just going to put 2 double crochets into that last stitch, like that. So it kind of mimics the other side and gives us that nice straight line. So chain 1 to fasten off this round. I call them rounds even though they're technically not, because you're not meeting in the middle, but it's a semicircle. Semi-round. So with the next round I'm going to make a slip knot with my new colour. And I'm gonna go, let me remember what I did. Yeah, so I'm gonna go in between that beginning double crochet, the first beginning double crochet we made, and the double crochet with a beginning double crochet. So go in between them. Ooh. Make a beginning double crochet. Then I'm going to chain another 1. So that's how we start this round, and then I'm going to go into the next space with my regular 4 insert cluster stitch. And chain 2, and we're going to continue making cluster stitches so that we have 8 clusters in total. So we've made our first one, six, 7. Yeah, we are on the last one now. So the 8th one goes in between the last puff and the last 2 double crochets that we put there. And after that cluster you want to just chain 1, not 2, and then I'm going to just put 1 double crochet in between these last 2 double crochets here. So go in between them and just place 1 double crochet. Chain 1 to fasten off. So I'm going to grab my yarn, make a slip knot, I'm going to go in between the beginning double crochet and the first cluster we made with a beginning triple crochet. So that's a standing single crochet, chain 2. Then I'm going to put 2 treble crochets into that same space. Then I'm going to go into the next space and put 3 double crochets. then into the next space with 3 half double crochets, next space with 3 doubles, and now we're going to make our peak of the triangle or the corner, so 3 triples, chain 2 for the corner, and make 3 more triples, then I'm going to make 3 doubles into the next space, three half double crochets into the next space, three doubles into the next, and we're going to finish off with 3 trebles in between the last cluster and that double crochet. Chain 1 to fasten off, and there you go. So then we're going to do another round to join it to the squares. So I think I have 4 of these and 4 of the teal, and these will go at the top of the jumper as well as the bottom. There we go. But yeah, that's all for this part, the first part of this jumper. Yeah, so I hope you guys were able to follow along to this tutorial, and I hope you found some, you know, new tricks and hacks to make this sunburst granny square a lot neater and easier. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, happy crocheting. If you're following along and crocheting along with this jumper, make your squares, make your triangles, and we'll meet back to join them. And yeah, hope you're having a lovely day. Bye!